the show. Wait, Leslie Rob said what? What? Leslie Rob said what? What she said? What? Leslie Rob said what?
Well, hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of Leslie Said What? Okay, guys, I am super excited about this series. It's been going so well. Each time we come on, the guest just impresses me even more. All right, so tonight is no different. We have guest Miss Ruddle. Okay, she is a teacher, and she's going to come to share her testimony. For those of you who do not know what's going on, I'm doing a to encourage teachers who are Christian and in the faith to let them know they are not alone in the public education field, our mission field of public education. They are not alone. There are other teachers just like them. So that's the whole purpose of this series, Testimonies or Teachers and Testimonies. So as per usual, feel free to make comments in the chat as well as in the comment section, and then we will recognize your comment. We will respond to any questions that you guys have. But most importantly, guys, the whole point is just to have a good time and enjoy the conversation. So without further ado, guys, I'm going to bring her on, Miss Michelle Ruddle. Hey, Michelle.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So good to be here.
Oh, well, I'm so glad to have you. So, Miss Ruddle, what is it that you teach?
Right now, I teach 8th grade math.
8th grade math. Okay, well, gosh, hats off to you. I cannot do middle school. Do you like teaching middle school?
I do. You know, this is going on a year that I've taught middle school. I taught high school for 24 years.
Oh, my gosh, bless you.
Retired and then rehired. And so now I'm teaching 8th grade math part-time. And I love those middle school kids. They are silly and they're goofy.
I just could not. I did middle school for 1 year. I couldn't do it anymore after that.
I was worried. I was worried when they asked me to come back and do 8th grade because in high school, I did better with juniors and seniors.
Oh, yeah, the higher level.
Yeah, not so much with freshmen. I had issues with had trouble figuring out freshmen.
Oh my goodness. What is the deal with the freshmen, Miss Ruddle? I don't understand.
I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. But the 8th graders, I just love my 8th graders. They're something else.
Oh, well, good. Yeah, no, I was definitely not a middle school teacher, but high school is my sweet spot. So it's cool that you did that for 24 years. Well, here in the comments, Teresa is telling you good evening from Oregon and that she loves Michelle. So
hey, Teresa, how's it going?
Okay, so now let's introduce yourself. Who's Miss Ruddle?
I am Michelle Riddell, and I love teaching. I have, like I say, been teaching. This is year 26. If you take out the one semester I was retired.
Hey, so, it still counts. Once a teacher, always a teacher.
Once a teacher, always a teacher. That's right. And, you know, I love being a Christian teacher in the public schools. It is most definitely a mission field.
For sure.
Not only for our students, but for our coworkers.
Oh, definitely. Indeed. Oh, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
So I am an empty nester. And I will be a grandma for the first time in June.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm so excited. I live in Central Texas.
Okay.
Born and raised in Texas, lived all over Texas. Been in Waco now almost 20 years. And
oh, awesome. Now, have you always taught in Waco?
No, I started teaching in a little town in West Texas called Floydada. That's my first teaching job, was in an alternative high school.
And what did you teach there?
Everything. I taught what we now call
another level.
My degree's in elementary education.
Mm-hmm.
I subbed for a week in a first grade class.
Okay.
No way. Can't do it. They're little and sweet and I love them, but I'm not detail oriented enough.
Yes.
So
I taught first grade for 1 year. That was it.
Oh, you made it a whole year? I only made it a week.
Only a week? That's hilarious.
Well, I was subbing, so I was only supposed to be there a week. But
yeah,
I got hired. A whole long story, but I got hired over the telephone from a hospital room to teach in Robinson. But before that, I was in Floydada, taught at the alternative school. I started out with what we called then home economics is now family consumer science.
Yes, that's what I teach. Whoop whoop.
What was funny is I got hired to teach that, and I didn't cook and I didn't sew, and I only clean when absolutely necessary. So it was definitely a God thing. Definitely depended on him to get to know the big kids.
Yeah,
and
especially at an alternative school.
Yeah, and we were at that time we were all credit recovery rather than disciplinary.
Yeah.
So it was fabulous. Our students were mostly 17, 18, 19. Most of them were parents, and they were all coming back so they could get their degree, their diploma.
Oh, cool.
And so it was a small setting, all Christian teachers. It was amazing.
Oh, I bet. Especially if you guys are all in there together. That's kind of like your own little community, your own little neighborhood.
It was. And we had kids from 7 districts, students from 7 districts.
God.
So I learned there the importance of relationship.
Yeah.
And importance of how, and I don't know who said this first, but somebody said that they'll never care how much you know until they know how much you care.
So true with teaching.
And
relationship
I learned that
difference.
I learned that at the alternative school. Well, I ended up while I was there teaching also math and English and PE and business.
Oh my goodness.
I would go back and take the test and get certified. And they said, well, can you teach this? Yeah, I'll go take the test and get certified. So I don't have science and social studies, but I have just about everything else.
Oh, that's what's up, Michelle.
So.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Well, how's teaching going this year? Now, are you teaching full-time or I think you said
I am teaching part-time. I'm teaching part-time right now. I teach 3 classes and then we have lunch and PLC and then I go home at 12:45.
Oh, nice. So then when you said you taught for 24 years, you taught full-time, but what brought you back? Did you retire and then come back?
I retired. And
you're like, look, let me go back and help with the shortage.
Well, I retired in May of 22 and was focusing on writing and speaking ministry. And then in December of 2022, my district that I had worked for 18 years called and said, Michelle, we have an opening for 8th grade math. We have another retired teacher who will do the afternoons. Would you be interested in doing the mornings?
Oh, wow.
And I said, yes.
Oh, that's cool. So, hey, and that's the best part about it is the teachers who are retiring that are coming back to help. It's so awesome because it's definitely a shortage. Like, we don't know what the future for teaching looks like at this point. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, let's be for real.
Well, it's gotten more difficult.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. And it looks so different than it did before. You know what I mean? Like, even when I started teaching in 2006 till now, teaching looks completely different than it used to.
It does. It looks completely different and it's gotten only more difficult.
Oh, I believe it. Now, what brought you to teaching? Like, what made you decide to become a teacher?
Well, when I was growing up, my stuffed animals were the smartest on the block because I was always playing school.
Oh, that's awesome.
And teaching them.
Hilarious. So they were your class. They were your first class.
They were my first class. I loved school growing up. We moved around a lot, but school was my safe place. And I loved school and I did well in school. And so that was, I don't know, I just loved it. And I also thought that being a teacher, because I wanted to be married and have children, that being a teacher would allow me to have the same schedule pretty much as my children.
True. Which it does.
Then even after, when I divorced and became a single parent, my daughters were 3 and 1.
And
I thought, well, I might need to go do something to make some more money.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
But then, I prayed about it and it was like, well, what other job are you going to have this much time with your children?
Oh, that's such a good point.
And God said, you stay teaching and I will provide. And he has.
Oh, that is amazing. Now, you said that school for you was a safe place. Was home not a safe place for you?
Oh, I didn't mean that at all. Home was safe. But just in the moving around a lot, school was where I did well.
I gotcha. And the thing is yeah. And when you said school's a safe place, and I was like, I wonder for like most of our students, I know for several of my students, one of my students, the panes of the glass of the windows in their house cereal boxes. Like a lot of our kids live in really, really low income housing. So for most students, and I loved how you said that, even though, you know, you didn't mean it in this context, for a lot of our students, school is the safe place. Like a lot of the kids come to school, that is their only place of solitude, the only place that they can have peace. And a lot of times it's the only place where our kids get food.
It is. And a lot of times it's a place where they are seen.
Yes. Seen and loved on.
Yes.
Yeah. So true. That's why it's so important as a teacher, like we always say, to be the hands and feet of Jesus, because teaching is a mission field. So like it doesn't have to be like we're hitting kids over the head with this, that, and the other as far as religion or Christianity, but just loving and showing the love that the kids need, right?
Right. That's what, you know, Jesus said they'll know, or the Bible says they'll know we are Christians by our love. Not by how we preach at them, not by how we beat them over the head with our Bible, but by love. And they can't take that away from us, that ability to show that love.
Exactly. We have to love on our kids. And that's the thing. It doesn't matter like the backgrounds that they come from or what. We don't know. We may be the only person that shows that child love in the course of their life, because we don't know what type of home life that they have. So it's so essential as teachers to be the hands and feet of Jesus in that sense, you know? Yes. Now, what challenges do you find as a Christian teacher that you face in the public school system?
I'm at a school in Central Texas. We're kind of in the middle of the Bible Belt. So
that's nice. So yeah, that's great.
It is. I don't think I face the same obstacles that teachers in other parts of the country face.
Yeah.
I've read about some of those. I've seen some of those, but we are very fortunate to live in an area that is mostly Christian, and
that's awesome.
You know, I hear teachers that say, well, or not teachers. Let me back up. I read where people will say, well, we ought to put prayer back in the schools because that's what, you know. Well, a prayer over the PA system is not going to do anything when there's no prayer going on at home.
Okay, say that. And it doesn't take the PA system. You know, we can sing prayers ourselves over our classroom and keep those kids in prayer. And now that was a mouthful, Michelle. That was a mouthful.
There's so much we can do as teachers, even without praying over the PA system, without out loud praying in our classroom. There's so much we can do to meet the needs of our students, to meet the needs of our coworkers, to encourage them, to show them what being a Christ follower is.
Yes. There's so much we can do.
We can do that without that prayer over the... I'm not saying I grew up with prayer over the PA system. I'm not saying it was wrong, but look at our society has changed.
Yeah, things have changed.
And the culture has changed. So
now when you said encouragement, you hit something, and I wanted to bring this up. So you had actually mentioned that you wrote a book, and that your book is meant to encourage parents who have lost children. So guys, for those of you who don't know, Michelle wrote a book. It's called Welcome to the Club. I'm Sorry You're Here. And I know that, like, Michelle, you were like, I don't know if I should bring it up, but I actually think you should. I think that would encourage someone. So why don't you tell us about your book?
Well, I lost my son in a car wreck when he was 5 years old. We were hit head on the road was starting to get icy. We were hit on. He was hit head on. He was killed instantly. And I had a neighbor shortly after that tell me, you will never be happy again. And I immediately went into another room and I prayed, God, please don't let that be true.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know how I was going to put one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
I didn't know what life was going to look like, but I certainly didn't want to be not ever happy again. And God has shown me through that. That's been 31 years. God has shown me how joy and sorrow can coexist.
That's awesome.
And so I wrote this book to help encourage other parents who've lost children or anyone who's grieving. So I wrote that book, and God gave me the title to that book, and I wrote it, and it's helped a lot of people.
Oh, that's awesome.
But the idea of joy and sorrow can coexist. That applies in so many things. You and I were talking before we went on about this time right before the Christmas break when teachers are exhausted.
Yeah.
Kind of in survival mode because we've left it all in that classroom. We're doing our best every day for those kids.
Yeah.
And we're ready for a break. But in the middle of that exhaustion, we can still find that joy.
Yes. Yes.
That student that gets it, 2 days before we get out for Christmas. That student who all of a sudden passes a test that hadn't passed one all year long.
Yeah.
That student who walks in and you say good morning and they look at you and, well, good morning, Miss Rodell. We can still find that joy in the middle of the exhaustion.
Yeah, that's so
in
good.
the middle of the frustration that comes from all that stuff we deal with up here.
Oh, yeah. Because the teacher brain is an exhausted brain for sure.
Yes. So all that stuff that comes that we have to deal with it, we don't see how it makes our job easier. It kind of makes our job harder, it seems like.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's the things we have to do so that we can get those aha moments with the students. We can get those relationship building moments. We can get those grin across the face. I had a student last week that passed the test, that hadn't passed a test all year. Oh. And when he came up to get his grade and I told him, he goes, I passed? Oh. And I said, yes, you passed. And his face lit up like Christmas. And I was like, this is why we do this. This is why we do this.
Yes. And it was so funny today because, it's the small little things that make the difference. What were you saying today when I messaged you? You said, look, I got a Dr. Pepper. What was it now?
Oh, yeah. So I go in, we get out Wednesday. So, we're right here at the end and I'm going in, I'm like, here we go. And I had my water bottle on my desk because I thought I'm going to be good. I'm going to drink my water. And
then if we can get a bathroom break in there somehow.
The teacher across the hall comes in. She goes, hey, I'm ordering from Launchpad, which is our local coffee shop that delivers to the school. You want something? Yes, I do. Yes, I do want something. And then I go to my box and I check it. And my Secret Santa has left me a Dr. Pepper Zero. And I'm like, so I sent you a picture. I had it all lined up on my desk. Okay, day made. I'm set. Let's go.
Yes, your day is made. You got your coffee, your Dr. Pepper, and your water bottle. You are all set to go.
There we go. And I still have the water bottle, by the way.
Now, that is so funny because, when it's those little things throughout the day that encourage us, even just another teacher, just simply like you said, asking, hey, do you want a cup of coffee from, I'm about to order from the coffee shop. It's those little things, those little nuggets throughout the day where, like you said, finding the joy in the exhaustion, finding the joy in all that we have to deal with. And those little bouts of joy are really, really helpful. It makes all the difference.
We have to look for those and focus on those because if you're not careful, you'll miss it. In the middle of, I had to go to this meeting and I had to type this plan and I have to fill out this report. What you focus on gets bigger.
Ooh, I like that. What you focus on gets bigger, guys, is what Michelle said. And she also said, guys, we have to find the joy in the exhaustion. Throughout the day when you're exhausted and you're over it and, it's just been enough. Trying to find those little bits of joy to just make your day. Like asking another teacher if they want a coffee from the local coffee shop or, your Secret Santa gift. And a lot of places even do Secret Pals now where you're doing secret little things all year long.
Yeah. Can I tell a story?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So one year, beginning of the year, I'm teaching high school algebra 2 and we're doing a poll at the beginning, just to kind of get to know you, first day of school thing. And so I had a poll put up on the screen and they could type in their answers on their devices and it was anonymous. So we didn't know who was doing what, but I asked them, what helps you learn best? And some of the answers were serious and some of them were funny. And some student typed in Cheetos.
Cheetos is what helps you learn best. Okay.
Yeah, Cheetos. And so we laughed. Well, every question after that, somebody incorporated Cheetos into the answer.
That's Yes.
And we laughed and we had the best time. And I thought, here's my moment to earn teacher points with these kids. And guess where I went after school? I went to the store and guess what I bought?
Cheetos.
And so I took him to school and I only bought him for that one class. So to buy for everybody gets a little, it wouldn't have meant the same.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, it does. But it wouldn't have meant the same thing to the other classes. So I hid him under my desk. Before I could get mine out, one of the kids in that particular class walks in and takes a napkin and one Cheeto and puts on everybody's desk. They had brought Cheetos.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
And then I brought mine in and gave it. And one of the girls looked at me. She goes, Miss Riddell, you brought us Cheetos? And I said, well, of course I did. You said it helps you learn best. And I want you to learn best. So yes, we have Cheetos. And we laughed about Cheetos all year long. And I had a connection with that class instantly. And that's so important.
I love that. And it's those little things, those little nuggets that we have to look for that's going to enhance their learning or enhance their joy, enhance the relationship with the kids and the rapport with the kids, and just enhance the classroom environment in general. I mean, we'd be surprised at what it takes for the kids to learn. And the thing is like when you said your student mentioned Cheetos, a teacher who may not have been in the best of moods that day, Cheetos may have just threw them over the edge and was like, the kids being smart, the kids being whatever, the kids being sassy. Right. But no, guys, it's what we do with those moments that matters. For example, I had a student at one point when I was talking about, okay, guys, so what's the answer to number one? And he goes, number one, I'll take a Big Mac, like he's at McDonald's. Okay. Well, okay, maybe another teacher would have got irritated. I'd be like, I literally use that as a moment to connect. And I know this sounds crazy, guys, but like Michelle did with the Cheetos, instead of taking it as an interruption, she took the interruption to make it a connection with the kids. So my interruption with the kid telling me when I asked him what the answer to number one is, and he said, I'll take a number one Big Mac meal. I was like, oh my gosh, I love me a Big Mac. What do you like on your Big Mac? Do you like the extra sauce or do you like, and the kids were like, you never underestimate the power of the shock and awe because they're like, wait, she's not mad. Wait, she's not yelling at him. No, I use it as a relational moment, like a moment to relate to the kids, to build that rapport and to build that relationship, just like you did with the Cheetos.
I think you've got to say yes when you can. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's definitely a time, and I'm all for holding them accountable, and there are times when you have to tell them no.
Yes.
But if you can say yes when you can, mm-hmm. and you look for those opportunities that you can say, oh yeah, what do you want on your Big Mac? Or let's have some Cheetos. Then when you have to tell them, no, I'm sorry, we can't do that. Or stop that nonsense and let's get to work. Mm-hmm. Then that's better because you're not just telling them no all the time for the heck of it.
And I love how you said that. Like when those moments that we can say yes, we should. Literally, if we can embrace an interruption instead of discipline an interruption, then by all means, we try to make it work.
Yes.
But Michelle, thank you so much for your time tonight. I really appreciate you being here. And I loved that you sowed those special little nuggets to remind us that to find the joy in the exhaustion and to find the joy in the frustration. And even like to embrace the interruptions with the Cheetos. That was such a great reminder. And guys, go ahead, Michelle.
I sure wish I could make the exhaustion and the frustration go away.
That'd be nice. If you had a magic wand, Michelle. I know, right? Now, Michelle, when do you guys get out of school for winter break?
We get out Wednesday at 1:00.
All right. And we get out Tuesday at, I think, 12. I think we have a half day on Tuesday. So we're slightly before you, but we can do this, Michelle. We can make it. We're almost there.
We got this. We got this.
Now, guys, to get Michelle's book and to learn more about booking Michelle for a speaking engagement, here is her website here. It's www.michelleredell. I did it right this time, right? MichelleRiddell.com. I keep calling her Miss Riddle. I don't know why, guys. I think it's because when I was in school, I had a teacher named Miss Riddle. So I just replaced the U with the I. I mean, I don't know. But guys, definitely check out Michelle at MichelleRiddell.com. And don't forget her book. is an encouragement for parents who have lost a child and are grieving. It's called Welcome to the Club. I'm sorry you're here. Again, that can also be found on her website. Now, we have a few comments. Jamie said, I love this. Using moments to build connections. Very true. Yes, Jamie, it is so essential. Guys, like Michelle said, if those are those moments where we don't have to technically say no, or we can just let it go and embrace the interruption to build a connection and to build a relationship or rapport with the kids, like Michelle did with the Cheetos, like I did with the Big Mac thing, we just do what we got to do. And Teresa says, great talk. Thank you, Teresa. And thank you, Jamie, as well as Leandra, for being here. We appreciate you guys watching and joining the conversation. But Michelle, again, thank you again for taking the time to be here. I know we as teachers, anytime outside of the classroom, it's precious time. So I thank you for taking the time to be here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So Michelle, I'm going to pull you out. And so just wait for me backstage. Everybody else, thank you all for coming. And guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Those were such special nuggets that Michelle left with us to embrace. Like, guys, if we can embrace the yes sometimes instead of the no, let's do that. And like she said, also to find the joy in the frustration, even in the smallest ways, like encouraging each other with a cup of coffee or Dr. Pepper or whatever else comes up. But guys, as per usual, thank you again so much for being here. Leslie Said What? Season 4, episode 5 is out.
Leslie Rob Comedy.